Well, good afternoon. This is Sue, the Soggy Stamper. It is Friday afternoon, and rain or shine, it's stamping time. Today, it happens to be sunny, and a light breeze, so it's not hot like much of the rest of the United States. Today, I'm going to be using this wonderful one-horse open sleigh designer series paper to make a card, and I wanted to show you the different things that are in this that makes me love it. First off, there's this scene, and the back is a kind of a nondescript, a subtle pattern. This one, and a different subtle pattern, red, real red. I love this one with the fox in there and the snow coming down. Just love this picture. And it has a wood grain back. This one is the one we're going to use today. It's got a fence, it's got snow and mountains in the background. And I love the shading. A little bit of, maybe it's a sunrise in the back there. And the back side of this has kind of a tweedy-like look to it. Then there's this one that's a hillside in the mountains, or in the forest with snow coming down, and it's blowing a bit. And the back for that is a dotted misty moonlight. This one is a deer. All of these, you could just trim them down to make a card front and put a greeting on them, and you have the perfect card. Very quick. There's 4 of each design in the pack. You get 48 sheets of 6 by 6. And this is one of the online exclusive offerings that you go online and click on the online exclusives and you'll find them. This one is more of a distant one, and a light wood grain. This one's a view from the top looking down, and it's got blue stripes, the misty moonlight blue. This one is a house, A-frame house out in the forest at nighttime with the lights glistening off the snow. I tell you, our design concept artists really have it correct with this set. Here's another view in the forest, and a nice green pattern. Here's another one, and it has a whole forest on the back. And then this one with a field and a fence and kind of a hedgerow and snowing. And the back of that is real red. So these have sold out once, and they have them back in stock, so you need to go and check it out. With the one online exclusives, they may or not come back. That's the beauty of them. Stampin' Up's trying to be more current with things, and a little bit more of an urge to buy right now instead of waiting. Let's get started with the card now. This card is called Fractured Card, or faux shutter, meaning the shutter like on a camera. And it looks very complicated, but it is really easy to do. Some of the techniques, some of the videos, they actually have you cut out the square from the designer series paper and from the top layer, and then you put it all back together again, and then add some strips. But this is even quicker. So we're going to start with a pretty in pink, I think it's pretty in pink, cardstock. Let me see. No, petal pink, pretty in pink, retired. And then this is 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2, or you can do it 8 1/2 by 5 1/2 and score at 4 1/4, and that would give you a side fold. I like to have them upright because they stand and the front shows more. Okay, so start with that. I also have 4 strips of the petal pink. These are 1/4-inch strips, and they're 6 inches long, but you don't need them quite that long. And to make it easier to apply, I put the adhesive sheet on the back before I start cutting them out. Otherwise, you put small dots of glue along the strip. And then I have a piece, 2-inch square diamond, that will be the focal point there. But you notice that there's a little bit of the background showing around that. So I have a template that is 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, and I'm going to put that down, and that will help with the spacing of my strips. So we're going to apply from this corner down. Now I'm going to start this way. And the first one is going to be right exact with this edge here. And I don't need the whole thing, so I'm going to trim off part of it. Like that. Peel off the paper backing. And lay it right up against my template, my spacer. And let it run out the edge. And we'll trim those off in a minute. Okay, so now this might work just fine. Yeah, it's just a touch too short. So we'll get another one. And we're going to put it along the edge here, butting it right up against this one. Again, I'm going to trim it. Now it looks like I cut all of these pieces and laid them on the card base. So it's just an illusion. And then we just go on around the circle, or the square. That one's going to come clear down to here. If you haven't tried these adhesive sheets yet, I really recommend you do. It makes cutting and makes putting down small things so much easier. Get up there. Because you don't have to put little drops along. Now maybe, yep, that'll work. So this was a piece that was left over from this one. Put it up right against there. And then we'll cut off the part that's hanging over. Hopefully, I'll be able to get this all finished. I didn't get my phone charged up completely before I started, and there's a good chance I might run out of power before it's over if I take too long. One of the things I want to remind you is that during the month of July, for every $50 that you spend, you get a coupon for $5 off an order in August. So, see how that is? Then we just remove our template. I used a little bit of a liquid adhesive that I dried, so it's temporary. Laid it just like that. Okay, so now for the greeting. The greeting Thinking of You is from Quiet Meadow. I use a lot of Thinking of You cards to send to housebound members of the church. And I'm going to line it up against my grid paper so that the corners of this are straight. And previously I had checked to see that I got the index on pretty straight. So there we are, Thinking of You. And I think I'll put this on first. Get it straight. There. So now it looks like this piece was cut, this piece was cut out, and then I separated them. Put Thinking of You on. This white piece of cardstock is 2 inches by 2 inches. Now, to add a little bit of bling to it, I'm going to use, these are the adhesive-backed solid gems, and they come in copper clay, boho blue, and lemon lolly. And I want them darker than the copper clay. I do not have a early espresso Stampin' Blend, but I'm going to use the darkest of the tones, and all you have to do is just carefully color them around like that. And as I was doing it, I thought I was going to use like 4 on there, but then decided that I would use a couple of these smaller ones, and then finally the smallest, to make an interesting design on it to help fill up that space. So now I have early espresso gems, and when the ink dries, it still sparkles. Put one there with my trusty take your pick tool. I'm just running them up the side like that. And then start at the top. Maybe that's not the one I colored. If you haven't tried Stampin' Blends yet, you are missing a wonderful experience. I love them because, number one, you can color things like this with them because they're an alcohol ink. Number two, I find that they are a little more transparent than the Stampin' Right markers. So any shading that's in the stamp doesn't get covered up. So there you have it. 2 simple cards. I made another one. This was the first one I made, and I used just cardstock with it. I used the Pretty Peacock and the copper clay. I first didn't think I would like the copper clay, but I really do like it. This is one of the flowers from the Irresistible Blooms, which is also an online exclusive that came out in April. So there you have it. Faux fractured card or faux shutter, whichever way you'd like to call it. Thank you for watching. This is Sue, the Soggy Stamper. If you have any questions, you can email me, sue@soggystamper.com. My blog is soggystamper.com, and I'll put on there the directions on how to make this. If you need any of the products that I've demonstrated, my online store is creationsbysue.stampinup.net. And I'll have this video up on my YouTube channel, The Soggy Stamper, shortly. So, thanks for watching. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you next Friday afternoon at 3. Bye-bye.